Harry and Meghan. It appears they have become a joke absolutely everywhere. How's the joke being received? Let's talk about Harry and Meghan. Prince Harry and Meghan have been brutally roasted on Saturday Night Live by Colin Jost during his Weekend Update sketch. Let's take a look.
President Trump also announced a new trade deal with the UK that will reopen British markets for American companies. All that Britain demands in return is that we keep these two.
And just when you thought the royal drama was cooling down, bam! Another roast lands straight from SNL's stage. Colin Jost didn't hold back, calling Meghan and Harry Britain's best Brexit deal. The audience roared, while somewhere in Monteceto, a tiara might have cracked from the shade. The crowd erupted, while Meghan's ego probably booked a therapy session on the spot.
Now, the Sussexes have copped it from comedian Colin Jost on Saturday Night Live. He's joked that one of the conditions of Trump's new trade deal with the UK is that Harry and Meghan have to go back.
Colin Jost didn't just land a zinger, he dropped a tactical nuke, labeling Meghan and Harry as Britain's best Brexit deal is savage. He framed them not just as unwanted fame-hungry outsiders, but as literal diplomatic card bait. That's cold, and oh so cruel. The punch? It's headline territory.
Look, there's no way President Trump would accept that deal. He's called Meghan Markle nasty and says he feels sorry for Prince Harry because his wife is a lot to deal with. Trump says he hates the way that Harry dealt with the late Queen, and judging by his friendliness towards King Charles, he won't appreciate the way Harry continues to run his mouth against the monarchy today. And say what you want about the Trump dynasty, but they are incredibly close and loyal to one another.
Donald Trump would flip totally. He'd never greenlight a keep Meghan and Harry trade clause. With his trademark bravado, he'd say, no deal. He's called Meghan terrible, and Harry whipped. So he'd refuse this Sussex swap outright and spin it into a headline-worthy presidential power play.
No, I refuse. I'm sick of it. No, I don't want them. It's just they are so ridiculed all over the place, but she can't help herself but constantly trying to shove down our throats that they're not. Here she is at Beyonce's LA concert.
Nobody wants them. Meghan and Harry are like the most toxic reality show no one tuned in for. US outlets called them villains, and even Eric Trump dubbed them spoiled apples. Who in America can stand their charm? Expired 5 awards ago.
Rebrand, another rebrand. Constant reinvention breeds skepticism. 1 minute she's a podcast host, the next a lifestyle guru. Is she writing children's books today? Is she the greatest expert on jam ever? Reinvention isn't inherently bad, but without follow through or success in one domain, it starts to look like failing, not versatility. And this inconsistency makes it hard for anyone to invest emotionally or financially in her ventures.
Colin Jost skewers Meghan like a Swiss Army knife with broken blades. Jabbing she tries doing everything at once and flops at it all. He cracked that she's multitasking diplomacy, branding, activism, none perfectly. That's cold genius. Humiliating and hilarious, proving she's overloaded and underdone.
And I think it's totally different motivations. She 100% PR move. That's why she was there. She wanted to get on camera. She's really thinking at every opportunity she can improve her terrible reputation, and people finally love her as they're supposed to. I don't understand why they don't. That's her. Then there's Harry, who still thinks he's Prince. And hello, you're not. You're not our prince. You're not royalty to us. We don't give a about you at all. In fact, we dislike you greatly, and we really wish you would go back home.
Not just Colin. Everyone from John Mulaney to Megyn Kelly has dragged Meghan for trying to do it all, yet nailing none. Kelly called her a malignant narcissist and inauthentic, while comedians mock her flopped Netflix lifestyle and activism as a 9-alarm cringe.
She's been mocked, actually, described as the fakest thing I've ever seen, her new Netflix show. Take a look at this little preview.
I've always loved taking something pretty ordinary and elevating it. Surprising people with moments that let them know I was really thinking of them.
She's literally become her own punchline. Every Netflix episode, podcast clip, and Instagram post gets roasted as another layer of fakery. Critics from Katherine Ryan to Tina Brown called it manicured, staged, fake perfection, and phony authenticity.
that she had Prince Harry on her vision board when she was younger, and that was her goal, #goal, to marry Prince Harry. So it was all about getting the title. She's done that now. Now she's just stuck with this depressed ginger who has absolutely no family, no friends, and no money. This was not # part of the plan. So what is she supposed to do now? Now, if she's smart, and she is that, she's very savvy.
She has no real goal, just a spotlight addiction. Fame-hungry and aimless, she keeps popping up on shows like Colbert or getting torched by Colin Jost, all while pretending it's empowerment. At this point, Meghan's brand isn't royalty. It's just being available for public roasting in high definition.
Now, being a royal was clearly tough for Meghan, as she explained with this Disney analogy.
Gosh, it must have been years ago. We were sitting in Nottingham I was sitting in Nottingham Cottage, and The Little Mermaid came on. Now, who as an adult really watches The Little Mermaid?
I want to be where the people are. I want to see... Sorry.
Well, almost every late-night host kept exposing her fake shine. Jimmy Fallon mocked her pretzel bag pseudo-consideration as unwatchable, while Colbert and Kimmel gleefully laid bare her staged innocence. Even Reddit quipped, "She became a walking, talking joke. Perfect vocal fry." Every roast uncovers Meghan's carefully curated facade, real colors fully revealed.
Hear ye, hear ye. A statement from her, hold on. A statement. A statement from Her Majesty the Queen. But first, to allow me to forget I'm an American who does not give a damn.
Hilarious. How at this point, Meghan's like the human version of a PR boomerang. No matter how far she throws herself into new projects, she always comes flying back into mockery. One Reddit user joked, "She's not even important enough to hate, just consistently cringe." From Netflix to podcasts, every late-night host treats her brand like a buffet of bad decisions. Meghan's only royal title now, Duchess of Delusion.
Meghan didn't cut all that fruit. You know, that took a team of people to cut all of that fruit up. Meghan's not sitting there cutting up all of that fruit every day. It's just it's very delusional. It's very unrealistic.
No doubt people laugh at her, not out of cruelty, but because the delusion is just too hard to ignore. Meghan walks around like she's starring in a documentary no one asked for, convinced she's a global thought leader while pitching podcast ideas that sound like diary entries from high school. Critics called her Netflix show an ego trip with no GPS, and her podcast labeled a word salad with a sprinkle of victimhood.
I don't think anyone in the world knows that Meghan Markle has eaten Jack in the Box and loves it.
It's so funny, too, that you keep saying Meghan Markle. You know I'm Sussex now. You have kids, and you go, no, I share my name with my children.
Yes.
And that feels so... I didn't know how meaningful it would be to me, but it just means so much to go, this is our family name.
At this point, even the audience isn't mad. They're entertained. Because watching Meghan try to brand herself as everything, activist, Duchess, Sussex, Hollywood insider, ends up revealing the truth. She's mastered the art of doing too much and achieving absolutely nothing, fabulously.
I had a great time. I noticed that whenever I do anything related to Meghan, it becomes like
big news.
Big news.
No doubt, wherever Meghan shows up, boom, headlines explode. Just like when Colin Jost roasted her on SNL, and suddenly every outlet screamed, "Britain's best Brexit deal." It's like Meghan doesn't do media appearances. She does roast-worthy cameos. The spotlight finds her, and comedians sharpen their knives before she even speaks.
Take to make this.
Yeah.
It's just chopping veggies, and as you know...
chopping veggies takes time. No one has time to sit here and chop veggies when their kids are running around and their husband or wife's being annoying and their job's stressing them out and they can't afford their bills and then they can't get security. Meghan, nobody has a life like you!
Let's be real. No one has the time or energy for Meghan's constant drama. Not everyone's living in a luxury mansion with nothing to do but curate victim stories and plan podcast flops. While she crafts her next headline, the world's too busy working, laughing, and watching Colin Jost roast her again.
One of the great martyrs of our time.
Poor thing. Her castle was so small.
There's something genuinely unhinged when Piers Morgan roasts Meghan on his podcast, and it instantly explodes in headlines. While William and Kate barely get a mention, Morgan tore into her spoilt brat antics, podcast victimhood vault, and Netflix flop in minutes.
The person who interacted professionally with her says, I think if Meghan acknowledged her own shortcomings or personal contributions to situations, Rather than staying trapped in a victim narrative, her perception might be better. And going on to say the prince and the starlet, according to Vanity Fair, have become local villains in Monteceto. Quoting someone as saying they are the most entitled, disingenuous people on the planet.
In the past 4 to 5 years, Meghan has delivered scandal after scandal. Twerking hospital video, bullying staff, public accent mockery, Netflix flops, Piers Morgan's spoiled brat rants, and Brooke Shields tagging her too precious. Just drop her name and reporters light the fuse. Drama guaranteed, crown not included.
Why does this woman have a podcast? Why does she have a show? Why? Why? The power... You know, these women, these people should not have shows. And yet they do, and that's an injustice. And the only way that I will be able to console myself is with the power of yet. That their shows haven't been canceled yet. Meghan Markle has not been silenced in public life yet.
First, Meghan got empathy, then we saw drama. Now it's roast season, shifting into cheap entertainment, and soon she'll become a public burden. In just years, Americans moved from seeing her as a modern fairy tale to media fatigue, accusing her of endless grievance and overexposure. It's a never-ending revolving door of royal fatigue. At this point, she's less Duchess, more disaster content.
Meghan Markle never misses an opportunity to play the victim. The fact that she went on Oprah and was crying and whining about these dresses and these little spats, why would the family ever trust you again? And the fact that they're writing a book about it now, years later, and the fight between the two women shows you Meghan Markle has a mouth that is way too big. Well, I think we all knew that. People in California have known that for a long time. She was trying to get cast. But Meghan Markle, she has a big mouth.
She's got a mouth louder than her resume. Does Meghan ever think before speaking? One day it's royal racism, the next it's chicken coops and podcast philosophy. With every interview, she drops a headline bomb. No wonder comedians love her. She writes their punchlines for free. Honestly, her mouth has its own press team by now.
Obviously knew that they would end up in LA because that was Meghan's dream. Her dream was to be an A-lister, and she was unable to make it to those A-list parties on the basis of her own merit as an actress. You know, she wasn't a very good actress, and so she figured out how to maneuver that by marrying a prince who, the only way to say it is, he's just not as intelligent as her.
From LA red carpets to international headlines, Meghan's journey went from celebrity fairy tale to media roasting, and now she's pivoting into hotels and restaurants under her As Ever brand. It's a dizzying loop. Once queen of drama, now entrepreneur, or just spinning the fame hamster wheel in plush new digs. What's next? Maybe a resort for offended comedians.
Meghan has something to do with that. It's certainly the way she talks about the royal family as a whole, the way she talks to him and about him. There's certainly an element of people waiting for him to stand up and say, listen, that's the royal family. You can't talk that way, or you decided to be with me. There were certain things you were expected to do. But he simply just allows her to demasculinize him in public, and everybody feels uncomfortable with it.
Everyone's begging Harry to finally pipe up and rein in Meghan. Her cheap show antics are overshadowing real royals. Critics say she's cashing in on the royal brand, and he's doing nothing but watching while she turns palace prestige into headline bait. It's high time he tackles the public spectacle and saves what's left of their dignity.
Back by changing our brand. All right, and I do see you're in our database, but you didn't first get help at this Cumhammer location? No, my wife went to one in California as a child. Ah, okay, then you must be in the national system. Oh yeah, is this you? Sorority girl, actress, influencer, victim. Yeah, that's totally me. Okay, I see, and then you added your husband to your friends and family account. You must be the royal prince, millionaire, world traveler, victim. That's bad.
It was savage, loud, and hilariously accurate. When things went south, South Park didn't just roast Meghan and Harry, they deep-fried them in satire. Reddit lit up with gems like, she can block Piers Morgan, but she can't block South Park. At that point, it wasn't just comedy, it was cultural judgment in animation form. If you're animated on South Park, congrats. You're officially a walking meme.
Prince Harry, though, has become the punchline of a Saturday Night Live joke. Let's have a look.
NBC has announced plans for a spin-off to the hit series Suits, which will be set in Los Angeles. It will focus on Meghan Markle's character's struggle to balance her legal career while also caring for an unemployed immigrant.
SNL does not hesitate to make fun of Harry and Meghan. It is a regular occurrence, and I thought this was just a great, funny joke. But I do think that SNL has it out for Harry and Meghan, and it was reported when Meghan was about to launch her podcast that she was trying to actually host SNL. And it was also reported when Spare came out that Prince Harry was trying to have a little cameo on there. So it makes you wonder if they've changed their mind since they've seen so much criticism from the SNL cast.
In the end, Meghan and Harry once dreamed of gracing SNL, perhaps after the podcast flopped and the book buzz faded. But after watching Colin Jost's seamless, savage takedown, that fantasy likely vanished faster than Meghan's Spotify deal. Still, who cares? Saturday Night Live did what it does best: roast royals like a 5-star Thanksgiving turkey. Hit that drop your take in the comments, and subscribe for more truth with teeth. This saga's just getting warmed up.